Welcome everybody to the War and Peace Baseball Podcast. I'm here today with Farbod Markazi, Alex Rudy, and Ray Estrada. I'm Alex Uwe. How are you guys doing? We are actually in the middle of some really exciting baseball going on right now with the World Baseball Classic, spring training, of course. What was that?
I said fake news.
Oh, and yeah, there's plenty of that going around too. But we can talk about real news today if you want. I don't know. It's up to you, really.
Whatever you want.
All right then.
I'm here for once, and my phone. Sorry, I wasn't on last time. My phone kind of just hacked on me, and I just decided not to say anything after. So yeah,
I'm sure everybody was very worried about you and your
Or
your
30, or because of Ray, we have 30 now. So we have.
That's a lot of people to keep track of. I don't know if we can handle that.
Yeah, I need to text them all.
I mean, we all know they only listen for Bod's outro anyway, so...
Yeah.
Hey, you forgot it 2 times ago, I think. So, I don't know what you do anymore.
All right, then.
Last time we tried to throw it to, me or Rudy, and I didn't know what it was.
Oh, yeah.
We
expect more from you, rookie. Come on.
To this point, we've probably lost any viewers we would have who would have started watching, so... Let's start.
Nobody listens for baseball. Come on.
True.
Yeah.
We're like intentional talk, but better.
Basically. Yeah. So now World Baseball Classic. We are about a week in now, probably, right? And Israel's gonna win it all. Basically, that's what I've learned.
Choked.
Yeah, Mexico just lost to Italy today. I mean, there's a ton of games going.
They blew a 9-5 lead in the 9th inning.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez, yeah.
That's why I'm very sad.
I did not get to watch that, but that's...
And did not get a single out.
They need to have some sort of joint meeting with the Indians and the Warriors and the Falcons to talk about their problems. Because, wow, 9-5 in the 9th. That's not okay.
Yep. Yeah, so Pool A is the only one that's done so far. Israel and the Netherlands are moving on. And South Korea is actually knocked out, which is pretty interesting.
And their president, too. But that's...
All right, then.
What?
Okay, fake news.
No, their president was knocked out. But okay.
Like he's unconscious? Or
like he had a wild night? All right, then. Yeah, Pool B, Japan's already moving on. They're 2-0. Yeah, and there's
Cuba is also on in Pool B. They just beat Australia to move on.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot going on right now.
I actually watched the games.
We're not really getting into the very relevant stuff.
You're better than
the Pool C games are going to be really fun to watch. That's the USA, Dominican, Canada, and Colombia.
Yeah. I'm excited for Ryan Dempster. I really want to see that, actually. I don't know why.
He pitched today.
Eric Gagne, too.
Dude, I was just watching a video. He's large.
He is large.
But he's getting the ball over the plate, so good for him.
That's some fine analysis.
Well, he threw the ball and it went over the plate. And that is all. Back to you, Jim.
Back to you, Jim.
All right. Yeah, so, I mean, there's not much to talk about in terms of, relevant major league players right now. I mean, we could talk a little bit, but the teams that are mostly represented have not played many games yet. Yeah. Another thing, the Israel-Netherlands game, I think there was the tallest batter-pitcher matchup in all of history. Some 7'1" pitcher on the Netherlands faced Nate Fryman, who is on Israel, who is 6'8" or 9" or something.
Yeah,
and,
6'8".
I thought that was cool. If you don't like that, you don't like baseball. Basically.
That dude really needs to start facing Jose Altuve or something. Because
you gotta find an even taller batter. I want as much height as possible out on the field.
Do you realize how difficult that would be for him to throw a strike to Jose Altuve?
I wonder what the tallest roster ever fielded has been, by a major league team or by any team even.
I really doubt there's that much variation to it.
The Colorado Rockies probably, when they had Tulo, probably were pretty close because just the fact their middle infielders were ginormous, that probably helped them. I don't know. This is very irrelevant, but that's what we do here.
Good for them.
Let's
not in the standings though.
Let's move into a little bit more relevance now. Let's talk about spring training. we've got to see a lot of players competing for jobs and whatnot. The main thing that I'm watching right now is basically injury reports, injury updates on those coming back, and minor injuries that some of the more relevant guys are dealing with. I don't have a list exactly pulled up because that's not what we do here, but I do know that Sonny Gray recently has strained something and will miss 3 weeks. Let me see if I
pulled his lat.
He pulled his lat. Yeah.
Pulled his lat. He's out for 3 weeks.
So you see that is a bigger deal for me just because he was such an injury risk last year and he had problems staying on the field and all that. It depends on the player. Like sometimes, like Adrian Beltre was dealing with a calf thing, but he's going to play in the World Baseball Classic. I'm not worried about him. Like he's old, but I'm not so worried about him just because, you know, he's a position player, he knows how to take care of himself and he's been there before. I mean, is he going to be as productive? We'll see about that, but you know, it depends. It's a case by case kind of situation, really. So.
Speaking on Sonny Gray, what do you guys expect from him this year? Like when he's on the field, of course, because he did have the mid-5 ERA last year. I mean, for one, I don't think he's that type of pitcher. But what do you guys expect?
I mean, it's really different. Like this news really does change my outlook on him. I really did hope that he was going to come into camp fully healthy and ready to pitch at the level that he had before last season. Like I'm not going to label him as the type of pitcher he was when he's injured, but if he is not shown that he's fully healthy, if he's still dealing with these minor things, then that's going to be a problem going forward.
If he stays on the field this year, do you think he's still a bounce back candidate?
He's of course a bounce back candidate, but the problem isn't even just staying on the field, it's being on the field 100%, because we saw what happened when he's on the field and trying to battle through things, and clearly he's not the same pitcher. So I really do hope that he just takes the time to really get back into, you know, his top form. That's
especially really, with that team, because they don't have like a timetable that like, oh shit, they're trying to win right now, so they need that him like every day putting his effort, or they should rather have him get to 100% so they can have him more so for the future too. Mm-hmm. If they choose not to trade him.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know do you guys have anything to add to that, or
who's even on the A's?
That's a great question.
There's Rajai Davis and
I like Rajai
Steven
Davis
Vogt. Rajai Davis, Steven Vogt, Sonny Gray and company.
I'm just going to say Rajai Davis is going to be incredibly underrated again. He is every single year, and it's kind of ridiculous. He's probably going to get plenty of playing time out there. I know the A's like to mix and match, but Rajai still got the wheels and still got some pop in that bat. I don't know. Like, him and Chris Davis are going to be really overlooked, and, you know, they could really put up huge numbers again like they did last year. In all fairness, they really did put up huge numbers last year, all things considered. So, those are the main two that I'm looking at. Albert
Pujols has been cleared for spring training, so that's good.
Yeah, another case where I want to be fully convinced that he's healthy. You know,
he had surgery for the plantar fasciitis over the offseason. That's basically one of those things that you can hit, you can field, but you can't run comfortably. And obviously he couldn't run either ways. But the only way to like really fix that injury is to wait till it tears, and then you have surgery on it. And until then, you have to just treat it, and that's what he's been doing for a while. Like, I think since before he was on the Angels, he's basically been treating it, and now finally he had surgery on it this year. So
I can tell you this: I had plantar fasciitis, and all I did was change shoes, and I cured it. So you should try that.
But you're also a 19-year-old male, and Albert Pujols is probably like a 50-year-old.
And I took 33, and I took a lot of HGH as well.
We know what that really means. Yeah. So I mean, it's a case by case thing. Pujols is not the model of health by any means, but he's gonna hit like he always does. Very low batting average, and
he's still gonna be productive.
Very productive in the power department, hopefully. Yeah. I mean, there's some other, you know, minor things like Michael Brantley has been taking batting practice. I don't expect him to be ready for the start of the season, but Hopefully there's no setbacks again, because he was set back an entire season, and that is it's a problem. Michael Brantley.
Oh yeah, so I was about to bring him up. Sorry, but
the ongoing story of Michael Brantley's injury.
Zach Greinke is down from last year this time he was throwing 93. Right now he's at 88. Do you guys have any concerns?
Yeah, I always do, because last year was not a good season for him, and he's not in a great ballpark to suppress those numbers. And he's a great pitcher. He still knows how to be effective in a pinch, but it's the big outings that really make the numbers look really bad. He can be really effective, get a lot of quality starts, but it's just those few that can really blow it up for you. I would definitely value him a lot more from a fantasy angle in a head-to-head league than in a roto league, just for that reason alone. Overall, he's still top, like maybe just outside the top 20 pitchers for me, but he hasn't fallen all the way to the bottom. So
that's kind of surprising. It's not surprising. It's kind of amazing how low one can drop within a season, because I'm pretty sure last year he was in most people's top 10, if not.
I had him ranked much higher actually, and that was probably a mistake.
Exactly.
That was a mistake. He was definitely going to regress.
After the year he had the in 2015, obviously you would think he'd be like one of the top 10 guys, and obviously you would expect some sort of regression, but not the type he had last year.
Yeah, certainly.
Yeah, I think Greinke hurt himself last year because, like you said, he went to a bad ballpark to play 81 games in.
I don't think he played in 81 games.
I know. I realize the error of my speaking, but he went and he became the ace. He became the ace of his staff because he thrived being Kershaw's 1B. You had Kershaw the day before, and then you would throw Greinke, and then but then you bring him to Arizona where you're just there for the money. And I didn't think it was going to be that bad of a regression, but I didn't think he was going to make Arizona even close to a contender.
Yeah, sadly, that's just the case. That's just the way it works. Pitchers are not always going to be what we want them to be. It doesn't take much to fall off the top of that peak level. So,
I mean, Greinke's a really mentally weak guy, and Arizona's a really toxic, in my opinion, clubhouse and just in general franchise. I don't know. I personally was not surprised that he didn't. I mean, I didn't think.
Are you gonna go on another rant?
I'm just saying, wow, like out of all the guys that they were gonna to sign there, he's like the worst type of player, a great player to sign with a struggling team. He has so many. His game is so mentally dependent on his mental health. To be honest, I don't know how. And I know he just chased the money, but they could have. I mean, it was pretty. The signs were definitely there that wasn't gonna necessarily end well or even start well. I guess in this case.
Yeah, well, he
definitely didn't start well.
Yeah, he's such an isolation type player, which is why I think he did well with the Dodgers behind Kershaw, because he wasn't the face of
1,000%.
He doesn't have to be the stopper.
The face of
he doesn't have to be the he doesn't have to be the stopper. He doesn't have to be the one to turn the team around and get you a double W. He's not the one that's carrying the team in that.
Exactly, because Kershaw would do that the day before, and he'd go out and just carry on doing what he's doing. But now in Arizona, he's basically the only good pitcher they have, and that's a lot of pressure on a guy who has the social disorders that he does.
Yeah, I guess. We're on a roll with the pitchers. Let's keep it going. Matt Harvey has also been pitching in spring training. He looks okay. He was kind of dismissed last season, but I think I'm not gonna make him.
People forget how good this guy was coming up, and they think that because I'm sorry, I don't think he's the pitcher he was last year at all. I think he's still a great pitcher, and honestly, for that team to go anywhere, they need those guys to stay on the field anyways, and Matt Harvey's going to be a big part of that.
So is he top 20, top 10 for you? You're speaking very highly?
Not top 10.
You're speaking very highly.
Not top 10. Not top 10. You could argue in the 18 to 20 mark. 17 to 20 mark.
Yeah, it's a really interesting case. He was, he obviously struggled with health, but even
I
when
think
he was on the field, he was not very good last year. So
is he healthy right now?
I mean, he's back. He's pitching.
As healthy as
he would not be pitching if he wasn't healthy right now. So he's
I think honestly, it's impossible to know with him until until the major league season really gets going.
Yeah.
Really
he's almost kind of like Strasburg, where he has really good stuff and he's shown that he can pitch really well. But then one way or another, he gets hurt, and then the numbers drop with that.
He's a somehow even more inconsistent and injury-prone version of Strasburg.
And that's surprising, considering how shit Strasburg's mechanics are.
I mean, I've seen worse, but yeah, I mean, Strasburg definitely has his own problems, but both of them are really dominant on the mound. Like, Strasburg last year had stretches of just pure dominance, so like there's
he had a great beginning to the year, and then he got hurt.
Signed his contract, and then got hurt.
Yeah, I mean that happens, and you have to kind of weigh if it's worth it if you know you're not going to have a guy out there for the whole season, but when he's out there, he's going to be absolutely dominant. Like, you can't just say you don't dismiss that completely, is what I'm saying.
But I think it's like Sonny Gray. He needs to be 100%. And pitching to do really well, because Strasburg tried to fight through whatever he had last year, and the numbers dropped with it. Like, he got bombed one outing just like Harvey did. Harvey got bombed, and then he had surgery 2 weeks later, and he was done for the year.
That's why pitchers are so tricky.
I will say to that point, pitchers really rarely are successful when they try to just pitch through injuries.
Yeah.
I would say I would say really. If I was managing a team, unless it was a do or die game, I really wouldn't consider making a pitcher at this point in baseball pitch through injuries that in any way truly affect their game, because it can just start them. Once they start struggling, it's really hard to regain form as a pitcher, because so much of it is mental and based on confidence, just like hitting is as well. So.
Yeah, I wonder if the pitchers are telling their managers though that
I'm sure they are.
This is nagging me, because like a lot of times it happens, they get blown up, and then it's like, I'm feeling this, and it's like, okay, now you tell us, and now you're on the DL for the rest of the year.
I'm sure they never they either say it after they've struggled consistently, or they just refuse to admit it even when or they just try to say, no, I can play through it, which is just inherent of being a professional athlete. But managers have to know when to say no, enough is enough, if you're hurt, you're hurt, you can't play.
Yeah, and that kind of. We'll keep it going with the injury risk pitchers, because Masahiro Tanaka is kind of like the counter argument to what you're saying there, because he has definitely been the face of the injury risk pitchers for a while now, ever since the news of the
that's
tear.
Not the same thing. That's not the same point I'm trying to make, because clearly he doesn't experience day-to-day discomfort from that injury.
Yeah, but it's not just like risk. It's not just risk automatically equals lack of performance, because he could his arm he can need Tommy John at any minute, like more so like at a higher risk than most other guys. But
that wasn't the point I was making. I wasn't saying avoiding potential injuries. I was saying when you are hurt and experiencing discomfort, there's a difference.
I guess so.
Right.
I mean, we don't know what Tanaka's feeling either, but it is weird. And Kershaw even he was dealing with back discomfort for a lot of time this year. Kershaw's a different animal, of course, but he was definitely dealing with back injuries and pitching through them for a while and pitching very effectively. So
I would make
Kershaw didn't really pitch through that back injury too much. He had.
Oh, I mean, he did miss a lot of time, but he did admit that he was pitching through the back injury, and he was pitching.
But that was for like a month.
Kershaw is just an.
He's not fair.
He's an incomparable guy. He's just a different. He's a different beast.
I would also say the Yankees should have just had Tanaka get the surgery when he injured it. What was it, a year and a half, 2 years ago, instead of making him push through it, because they have not been anywhere good enough to take advantage of what he's been providing anyways. So I would rather have a totally healthy UCL repaired Tanaka that might disclose the potential of what he showed prior to injury than this 75 to 80% Tanaka that we have now, which is just not the same pitcher as good as he is. And in my opinion, that's my opinion.
Yeah, I agree completely. One more fun injury risk pitcher that I'll throw out there is Garrett Richards, who is throwing right now. He's in spring training.
Oh yeah,
and he's doing work. I have no idea. This is like really the first real good look we're gonna see at the recovery of this style with the
it's amazing.
The stem cell injections, right?
Yeah, it was stem cell plasma, I think.
It's dude. with
Didn't Bartolo the stem cell injection as well?
Yeah, but
Isn't
he
that what
had it in
brought
his
back?
shoulder. He didn't have his he didn't like avoid Tommy John because of it.
Right.
Like Richards would have been out till 2018, which is what Heaney's doing. Heaney and Richards went both to they both tried the stem cell, and then it only worked with Richards, and so I mean, good for Richards. It's really interesting because I want to see how his arm health is throughout the season, because I mean I don't really remember many. I think he is the first guy who did this like on this level.
Yeah, he's the first guy of note, and I think it's interesting too because like with Tommy John, the death sentence is really being out for a long time, and a lot of guys come back with fresh arms, and they're throwing.
Well, they come back stronger because they're basically given like a fresh ligament too.
Yeah,
like,
so you wonder how it compares to Tommy John surgery on the comeback if it's a weaker replacement or whatever it is. It'd be interesting to see.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's thrown in spring training. I haven't seen him, but he has not done well so far this time around. So
the first time he's thrown in almost a year. So I'm not
some slack. I'll cut him some slack for sure. Yeah, I mean, it's like these kinds of stories are the ones we're looking at. We kind of glazed right over probably the biggest story was when David.
He also
Price,
touched 97. Sorry.
Yeah, he did. We kind of glazed over David Price, and that was like a really.
I was about to bring him up.
We ignored that he was reportedly going to get a second opinion on his arm and was looking like a likely candidate for Tommy John, and ended up
whenever any pitchers need to have a forearm strain, I immediately think it could be Tommy John right off the bat, especially because if they're like a hard throwing guy who gets the forearm strain, I immediately my mind goes he's getting Tommy John because those two seem to be linked a lot, and
yeah.
I remember another Angel, Tyler Skaggs, 2014. Tommy, it was forearm strain for about 4 weeks, and then they said, "Oh shit, it's Tommy John." Never mind.
Your guys' training staff is really fucking awful.
Oh yeah, no, the Angel training staff. They need you guys. It's awful. No, but so when this news first came out, I said, "Oh well, I mean, good thing they got Chris Sale and they have the Cy Young on their team because they just lost the guy they paid a ton of money for last offseason for at least a year and a half." And then, I mean, good for him. He doesn't need surgery, obviously.
Well, he's not throwing right now, and they're gonna take another look at it when he does start again in a couple of weeks. But
I'm really interested.
He's not out of the woods yet.
The other thing is that
I don't think he's gonna be out of the woods until we see him throw multiple season starts in a row without pain or discomfort.
I would say the chance of him having a major injury is also a lot more likely now that he's had this first issue. He usually starts a path towards some major injury.
Yeah,
that's unrelated. Once you start having these problems, they don't. I mean, they sometimes. I'm not saying they don't ever go away, but I would say more often than not, they are the beginning of something.
His mechanics also scare me in a little bit. Not his mechanics, throwing the ball. His mechanics after he lets go, because he's one of the few pitchers who coils back, and that's not good for the shoulder muscles nor his forearm. So that's a little bit scary too, especially when he does throw as hard as he does. But good for him. He's not out of the woods yet, but he's on his way, I guess.
Yeah. So yeah, that covers most of the major stories from the pitcher side of things. We can talk about a few position players that are important, just based on a position role type situation that are competing for jobs that could matter for contending teams. There's quite a few guys out there like that. I think I'm going to go ahead and say right now the most intriguing player right now who's definitely posting the best numbers in spring training so far is Mitch Haniger of the Seattle Mariners. He is likely going to be a center fielder. It was possible he was going to platoon out there, but he definitely looks like he could handle the everyday job. He had a monster season in the PCL last year. I believe he was traded to them last year, right? I forget what deal that was.
I believe so. I'll look it up.
Yeah, because I do remember him being involved in a trade. I think that was the Gene Segura trade. Right? Is that in this
Yeah, he was on the Diamondbacks. He was on the Diamondbacks, yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Wait, so they gave him a starting center fielder and Gene Segura just for Taiwan.
I mean, last year he batted .229 with 5 homers in 109 at bats. So that's a small sample size, but
Mitch Haniger.
Yeah, Mitch Haniger.
That's pretty poor, I have to say.
His AAA numbers are
in AAA.
But the PCL is a really, really good league for hitters. Like it inflates your offensive numbers to a degree.
Yeah, I mean it's not so much that he's like a monster or anything, but it's the fact that he was kind of like a low, not really considered prospect that was that made major strides, and those are the kinds of guys that I like to look at.
100%.
We didn't talk about one pitcher, and I feel the need to bring him up because he hasn't pitched in a major league game since I think Derek Jeter's played in a game before. Derek Jeter's played in a game, or like more recent than he's pitched in a game, and that's Zach Wheeler.
I think we've mentioned that in like 4 consecutive
last time,
podcasts now. I think that's got to be some sort of
where is he?
He's
on the
he's
trainer's
there.
table. I don't know.
I think he's thrown. He's thrown. I don't know if he's pitched in spring training.
You guys think he's going to get the 5th spot?
I'll look it up right now. Oh no, he's not going to be a starter. He's going to be a reliever, if anything.
He's going to be a long reliever.
He has pitched the spring training. Wait, no, he's not. Shoot, I was wrong. I think he's been throwing though.
Not a bad
with the club. I was mistaken, but yeah. How did we get to Zach Wheeler, by the way?
Because I brought him up.
All right, there you go. Yeah. So what? Some of the other position battles going on. AJ Reed with the Astros is looking pretty solid so far. Definitely looking a lot more disciplined anyway than he was with the Astros last year. I think he's definitely going to get a fair second look at that position. They're a contending team, so they can't afford to just run him out there every single day. They have options. They have Gurriel, who they got last year, and they also have Tyler White, who they could use in a platoon situation. So they have options. They'll mix and match, but I think AJ Reed, really long term needs to be that guy there, and I think he's been promising so far. He looks like he's making some adjustments. So hopefully that translates to the actual season. I really hope it does because he's a big boy. He can swing it. Big boy indeed.
Yeah, I think AJ Reed, he's a really good baseball player. I think, like you said, you just got to make an adjustment to the big leagues because, I mean, he's a pure hitter. I saw him in a home run derby a couple years ago in single A, and this guy mashes the ball. It was unreal.
He's also one of Ui's sub man crushers.
No. He's not in the all man crush roster yet.
That's why I said sub. No,
he's not even a sub. He's working his
way
into 40 man.
You talked about him so much along with Bregman last year. He's a sub. I mean, he's on the major league level. He's in Double A right now.
All right, but he's not in the 40 man.
Okay.
That's fair? All right. Well, I will eventually produce an actual roster at some point of the all man crush roster. It'll happen.
I'll do that.
I can't wait.
Or maybe I should let you guys do it and decide that for me because you
we
guys
all
will
need
probably do
to
a pretty accurate job with that.
Yeah, we all need to compare our lists.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll pass.
You'll pass on that one, okay. And one more relevant thing that I wanted to mention is Brett Lawrie got straight up released by the White Sox.
Good. I thought it was bizarre.
It was well before they needed to make any roster decisions too.
It helped them financially.
Well, yeah. I think
there's no way he could have been making that much money.
No, it saved them from paying him a lot. I'm trying to find
how much.
Trying to find.
If we're looking at the main takeaways here, it's clearly not Brett Lawrie because he
was
not going to be relevant.
Is not someone who needs
I look up Brett Lawrie I look up Brett Lawrie and the first link is there hope for Brett Lawrie?
Oh, that's a tough one right there.
He's definitely a fascinating case, I would say, of a prospect who was good enough, a top prospect who was good enough to, have a very impressive rookie season
And be traded for
and
Josh
stick
Donaldson.
stick it in the major leagues, and yet just never get better. And I know
and then be traded for the MVP.
I know he wasn't really the centerpiece of that trade. He was more just the direct replacement. There was more the prospects that were in that trade as, Billy Beane was mainly.
Hello? You guys still, you guys dropped or something. You guys dropped for a sec. I didn't catch the last part of that. But I figured you mentioned that he's not the centerpiece of that trade, and the prospects.
I was just saying, the prospects probably were as poor as the trade was in hindsight. Even though, we called it right away, even on this podcast, that was a poor trade for him. But I just think probably just really disappointing career. I've always been rooting for him. I always thought, he had the potential to be, at the very least, above average everyday third baseman in the major leagues. I thought that was his floor at the very least. And I know he's had some injuries, but I really hope he, this is probably one or two more chances, I would say, to be a regular major league contributor at this point. So I hope for his sake, can you find a team that can, at least make him into a quality, at least consistently helpful player at this point in his career.
Well, we know who's on Rudy's man crush list. Brett Laurie, welcome.
Oh, come on! That was not that much of a. He was not.
I definitely used to have a baseball man crush for him, but now at this point, there isn't much.
He's just one of those cases that he was, like you said, a top prospect, very highly praised coming out of the minor leagues. He comes out, has a solid rookie year, and they're all like, okay, it's only up from here. And honestly, I don't know if it was necessarily him messing up, him playing poorly, but it was a combination of that and injuries that just.
He never really got better.
Yeah, he stayed the same, and that's the thing. Major leagues teams adjust, and if you don't adjust with them, you're not gonna get very far. And then, like I said, injuries kind of just took him down more. Like you said, I hope he does find a spot. I don't know if he's gonna find a everyday spot, unless it's with the Padres or the Brewers.
Don't sleep on the Padres.
The Padres are finding a bunch of random dudes. Jared Weaver, go him. But yeah, good luck to Brett Laurie.
Yeah. I was surprised that he got released. I was very surprised because I know he's probably not an everyday player, but he still can. He can platoon if you need him to, but that was very surprising. And I don't think he was that financially. I don't think the White Sox are that financially strapped with him.
I agree with 1,000. I could not agree more. There must have been more to that. There must be something behind the scenes where he. I don't know. It doesn't seem like with the information we know, it makes sense for them just to completely release him. And not that he was even that good for them, but it's not like he was, batting 150 for them, last season.
And we know the White Sox work in weird ways. We saw that with the LaRoche thing last year, so we don't know if he.
Yeah,
I doubt he had a similar situation going on there.
No, I don't think a similar situation, but it could be a situation that could be just as weird as that pissed off management.
Definitely. That's a great comparison, in my opinion.
I'm really shocked by how much you talked about Brett Laurie because I didn't really care at all. My initial reaction was, Yohan Moncada is going to play this season, please. Yes, at some point he is definitely going to play this season for them. And
I only care because I'm always fascinated by former top young players, especially top prospects who don't, succeed. I always find it really interesting to look, what made them different than the ones who did succeed. And he's a really interesting example of a guy who made it all the way to majors, had a very good rookie year, and then kind of just never made a name for himself after that, and became anything more.
Yeah, well, hopefully that's not the case for Moncada because I am really excited about this guy. Just from an athleticism standpoint, I'm really excited to watch this guy. I'm just excited to watch him take the field. Even and he didn't put up great numbers last year, but he's athletic enough to adjust. It's kind of the same hype surrounding Byron Buxton. I hope it's not the same case exactly, but it's the same kind of hype. He's just so athletic that he eventually has to put it together enough to be an everyday player at the very least. And we've kind of seen Buxton get to that point where he can be the everyday center fielder just because he's such a plus on defense and the speed and the rest of the hitting's like slowly coming along because of that. And I think the White Sox feel the same way about Moncada. That's the main reason why they wanted to release Laurie, is because they know that Moncada is the future and they want to accelerate that. They definitely want to bring him up and get him a lot of at bats in the major leagues this season. That's my main takeaway from it.
Is he on your 40-man man crush roster now? Because that's what it sounded like. He
definitely is. We watched this guy. I watched this guy hit a home run live, and it was majestic. So there you go.
So did me for a bit. I mean, I just don't see. I don't disagree with you, but I mean, they easily could both play in the same lineup. It's not like Lowry only plays one position.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like what's the point? What's the point? There's no.
But
there's no
I mean, why
benefit
can't
having
they
Lowry.
trade him
Lowry's
for
kind of
assets?
garbage, as we kind of mentioned. So it's not like you might as well just clear the path if Lowry's not going to contribute anything.
Let me throw this out. Tim Tebow has a job, but Brett Larry doesn't.
Exactly.
Tim Tebow
like
barely
that.
has.
Let
Enough
that
with
sink
Tim motherfucking Tebow, okay? Like
No. That just popped in my head. I mean, I'm saying Laurie's not that bad. They could have traded him for assets.
No, nobody wanted. They traded away absolutely nothing to get him. Nobody was gonna trade for Brett Laurie. And Tim Tebow, by the way, just let's just leave it. Don't touch it.
It's a joke.
The man probably had the worst possible showing he could have in his first spring training appearance. Struck out looking on 3 pitches and then grounded into a double play, and
then he walked. He got hit by a pitch and then got doubled off on the line.
That's hilarious. I didn't even know that last part.
And it was bad too
because the real truth. It was
literally a line drive straight at the second baseman, and he took 2 steps off first.
All right, I'm over talking about Tebow. I want to ask you guys a question that always comes up in spring training, and that's about, because this is always a topic in spring training, extensions, and Eric Hosmer is discussing an extension with the Royals, and I think he said if he doesn't sign it by opening day, he's gonna just leave it there. Do you guys think this year is his last year with the Royals?
Nah, I think he likes it there too much. I think the fan base likes him too much. I think the Royals are definitely gonna build around him if anybody. They're that type of team. They extended Salvador Perez and they got him to a very, very friendly contract. I don't think Hosmer is really expecting to hit the open market and sign a really big contract. I think he's going to realize that an extension is probably going to be the best way to go at this point. He can easily get a 4-year, $80-something million contract extension.
He said, I don't know if it's going to heat up now in spring training, but during the season, I don't like getting bothered with that stuff. And then he said it's hard to make it to free agency. It's a right that every player earns if they make it that far. We were talking about certain extensions, stuff like that. But the way I see it, I just want to make it that far.
Here's the thing. Hosmer honestly just isn't good enough for him to would get more on the open market than even the Royals could honestly pay him. And the Royals are a notoriously stingy and low payroll team. But he plays a ridiculously deep position, and he is simply not good enough so far in his career to really deserve, I think, enough money on the open market where it doesn't make sense for him to just take an extension with a team that he loves so much and that he's a star at, and that he represents so much and means so much to the community and won a title with. To me, I just don't see him becoming a free agent. He's not going to take any more money.
I see him easily returning. I see this going to free agency. I see him easily returning there, but I also think that there's a good chance this is his last year with the Royals. I mean,
I don't think so. Name me what teams would sign him. I don't.
Well,
really
here's the thing. Sorry, I'm gonna go ahead and say this though really quick. Rudy, I'm gonna disagree with you wholeheartedly on the fact that first base is a deep position, because it just truly is not right now in Major League Baseball, and that is a very big misconception. The depth of first base is not what it used to be. There's a lot of teams out there that I'm sure would love to have Eric Hosmer, especially the kind of trend that we've been seeing
This guy hit 25 homers last year as a 26-year-old in that ballpark too. So imagine
That's not that good. What are you talking about?
Okay, that ballpark is huge.
Listen, you can say a lot of things to describe to me why you think Eric Hosmer is so good. 25
I don't think he's so good.
Is nothing to brag about.
I don't think he's so good. I think he's an overrated defender as well. He was won 3 Gold Gloves. I don't think
he had one. I'm not saying ESPN is like the god all, especially for advanced statistics, but according to him, he only had 1 win above replacement last year. I think he's honestly, he's an overrated player personally.
He is not a top player. But the thing is, like, look at the contract, look at the trend, look at the contracts that are being given. They're given to consistent players that play solid defense.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking.
It's really a weird.
And he hasn't been really getting hurt either, and that's the thing That's why I said it. Uwe. I'm looking at the market, the recent trends in the market. Even though no matter how whack the market's been, I'm just looking at these contracts that some guys are getting, and I'm thinking, would he leave the Royals for the extra pay, or would he come back?
I will admit that first base is not nearly as deep as I thought at first glance. So I will give that to you. But at the same time, he's a top 15 first baseman at best, in my opinion.
Well, here's the thing: Dexter Fowler made the kind of money he did this year. Like that's Jason Hayward last year is like these comparisons are a little bit different just because the wins above replacement numbers are different. But from a defensive standpoint, he's about as solid a first baseman as you can get. He is, for the most part, a very consistent batting average type guy. Hits I'm not going to say pretty consistent 20 home run power, but that's definitely on the table for
he's
a guy like him.
He's not a consistent batting average guy at all, though. He's really not. He hit 232, 302, 270, 297, 266, 293. Those are not consistent at all numbers. Those are completely all over the place.
Okay, that's a fair point. Like
his home runs are 19,
you have to
17, 9, 18, 25. He's not that consistent that great of offensive player.
You have to agree that Eric Hosmer's skill set is, in general, a very safe skill set to play. He doesn't have the same types of potential holes that you would see with a guy like Mike Napoli, for instance. Mike Napoli is, by most numbers, a much better option at first base than Eric Hosmer, but I'm willing to bet you that most major league teams right now would much rather have Eric Hosmer. There's a lot of
that's a weird comparison because Eric Hosmer is like 6 years younger, so I don't know if it's not really a direct line. But
it's not a direct line. But you know what I'm saying?
He's not any better than Brandon Belt, I would say, for example.
Brandon Belt, I mean, he's probably he's not a great. Brandon Belt has not been a great player. He's been pretty consistent, but I think there's a lot of value in that now for some reason. I think
that's fair.
I changed my own mind. I said at the beginning of this that I think he's not going to make it to free agency for this reason. But I think if he stays on the field and stays healthy, I think he could easily stand a much better chance in free agency than I initially thought.
I think somebody might overpay for him and try to make him their superstar, but the situation in Kansas City is just so good for him that if he hits the open market, I feel like he's gonna not get the offers that he thinks or wants, and then he's going to just have to tuck his tail between his legs and come back to the Royals.
I don't think they can afford to lose him either. I mean, they really I don't see how they can take that risk with their fans.
Their window shortens dramatically if he leaves.
I'm not saying that they're a team that I expect to spend a lot of money, especially on outside free agents or even on their own, but I really would be shocked if they let him really leave. He's one of the biggest faces their franchise has had in the past 30 years.
Well, they still have Salvador Perez. That's a really big face.
I'm saying one of the biggest faces. And the people who run the Royals are not stupid, even if they don't spend a lot of money. I would be really surprised if they felt that they would be worth alienating their fans to let him go.
I'm just thinking back on what he was not necessarily supposed to be, but supposed to be in air quotes. Because out of high school and college, people had him higher than a lot of the top hitters right now, and he's just another one of those guys that although he's been very solid, not really consistent, but a solid first baseman.
Him and Hayward were absurdly hyped when they were about 7 years ago.
He hasn't been what he was set to be. That being said, I think he is going to make it to free agency. I'm not 100% sure he's going to return either. If we're done talking about Hosmer, I have another guy who, if you guys want to talk about him.
Bring it on.
Jake Arrieta's a free agent after this year. Do you think the Cubs look for an extension now or what?
I'm gonna say no.
No, because of his age. Or
they don't have a lot of incentive to do so. They're a big enough market team where if they decide they want another starting pitcher to complement John Lester, they can go and get one. And I feel like they could be Arrieta.
Yeah, that's my.
I would honestly let him go.
When I was thinking about this, I was thinking, I could see him going. I could let him go. Like, as much as he has helped my team in the last however many or so years he's been on the team, I think I could, with the type of team I have right now, losing Arrieta won't be the end of the world. And I mean, the market that they're in, the hype of the Cubs franchise will draw free agents to them. It's not going to be overly hard, like, to get someone to complement John Lester.
The only issue is that he's by far the best free agent pitcher next year. It's not even close. That's the only thing. If you would not be, it'd be a little bit difficult to replace him immediately. I would say it's the only thing that would kind of makes me a little bit wary to just automatically assume. I know I just said that they should let them go, but I just honestly looked at the free agent list and it's beyond horrendous next year for starting pitchers. I don't even know who the second best guy is. I honestly couldn't tell you. I guess maybe. It's brutal. I mean, It's really poor. I mean, it's like. I'm just struggling. I honestly don't know. It's Jeremy Hellickson, I guess, is the second best free agent pitcher next year, depending on what you think.
But
maybe
the thing is,
if he comes back strong. So, do they have a top starting pitching prospect?
The thing about
I'm looking at it right now.
The thing about extensions is that it's.
I'm not saying they should extend it necessarily.
Like,
I'm just saying,
the thing is, he probably knows this as well as anybody, and he's probably going to want at least 5 years if he does extend. And I just don't think that's worth it.
I mean,
he can. The thing is, when you're the top starting pitcher, when you're the top starting pitcher in the friggin' market this year, he can easily say, "Yo, if you want me to be on your team, I want this, this, and this," because. Or else you're gonna have to go several levels down. No offense to Jeremy Hellickson, but
I really don't think they can replace him and Lackey next year easily. I think they have to trade for someone likely to replace both of them.
Which could happen. They definitely.
I trust Theo Epstein with my life.
With your life? Wow. Okay.
With my life, not as my wife.
What?
I heard it.
I've never heard of that.
You said as my wife.
I did not.
That's what I heard.
Well, okay then.
Maybe that's what you want. That's what you want to hear.
That's what you're into.
You guys are fucking whack.
For me, Arrieta is the way he values. I think he wants he's going to want a lot of money, and obviously with the market like it is, he's going to get a lot of money because supply and demand. But a lot of his value is coming from 2015, where he won the Cy Young. He was very good that year, and then the early part of 2016, where he looked like to continue that form. But towards the second half of last year, he looked average.
Who knows?
Above average.
Who knows what he does this year?
Exactly.
Because this year could push him back to. This year could push him back to 2015 type numbers or first half of last year, or it could easily go the other way for him, and his value would go down.
Maybe he returns to his Scott Feldman levels that he was previously.
Who was he traded for? He was traded for Scott Feldman, right?
Him and Pedro Strop was traded for Strauss. Pedro Strop and him for Scott Feldman.
It's a great deal. Scott Feldman.
Yeah, but
I love missing Scott Feldman.
Arrieta had all upside, and it was just that he had no control. and then he fixes mechanics. And
Well,
then,
everyone knows that the Orioles are beyond incompetent at producing competent starting pitching.
Yeah.
So
Incompetence. All
we
right.
love incompetence here.
Ubaldo Jimenez.
There's another one. Whatever happened to him? God. I know he's still there. I'm just. It seems like he's not. So I mean, I think that's about all the spring training updates we'll talk about for now. But we can move into our division of the week. We'll give this a quick rundown. The NL East. It should be a good one this year. There's a lot of really interesting teams in this division.
Tim Tebow's in the NL East.
He is. Let's just talk about him. Drop everything else.
If he makes the opening roster, Mets are winning the World Series.
I think the most interesting thing is that this is the only NL division that doesn't have a tanking team. So
the Phillies aren't really tanking anymore.
I mean, they kind of are, but like, they're still a pretty big market. It's not like
honestly,
they're not the most depressing team in baseball anymore.
They're not the most depressing team in baseball. It's not like the Central in the West where you have the fucking Padres and the fucking Brewers that are literally like cleaning house on everybody. The Phillies are kind of, if anything, on the back end of a rebuild.
There's no real dysfunction.
They're on the back
end
in the
NL East.
Is that fair?
Yes.
The Phillies,
I would say
the Phillies definitely
there's one
cleaned house a while ago, but they're on the right side of the rebuild right now.
I would say there's one team though that fascinates me more than any other, and it's probably gonna surprise you guys because this is probably the least controversy or kind of questions with them to really talk about, but I personally think that the Washington Nationals are the most interesting team in this division.
I wholeheartedly agree.
I think I actually don't. I think the Washington Nationals are a very interesting team, but I'm much more interested in the Mets starting pitching because I think that's what this division is going to come down to. If the Mets starting pitching can give them 180 to 200 innings, like at least three of those 5 can give them that many innings, like in effective innings, I think that division's the Mets. But
but the Nationals have the chance to be one of the most disappointing dynasties in the history of professional sports, which in my opinion is a lot more impressive. The Mets were never supposed to be this good, let alone this good for this long in the first place. Everything that they do that's positive is just, more like, more the merrier. No one's there's still, in my opinion, no one really still has that high expectations for the Mets. Maybe I'm wrong. I could be wrong with that, but from my perception, they're still the Mets. And
that's what I'm saying.
The Nationals have an absurdly stacked roster. They've won the division 3 times in 5 years, and they haven't won one playoff series. They have arguably the best player in baseball. They have arguably the best pitcher in baseball.
I'm a fight.
I don't know how arguable that is right now.
You could make the case that in 2015, Harper was the best player in baseball. So he was 1 year, 1 season removed from that.
The best player in baseball.
No, you could make that too. Honestly, so they have 2 of them.
I'm
not saying it's good.
Tebow's the greatest player in baseball.
I'm not saying it's a good argument.
I'll make you that case right now.
I think you're being a little facetious. It's not that absurd to claim that Harper could be the best player in baseball this year. It could definitely happen. He could be better than Trout this year. It's not like totally possible.
As an Angel fan, I'll tell you yes.
That's like really not
you
that.
Could make that argument.
You could argue. Is different than being better than Mike. Like it's not the same side by side comparisons we saw right after the MVP season. We learned how absurd that was.
Why can't he return to that level? I don't understand why it's so strange to propose.
Would you?
A season, one full season is a long time. Like we say, he struggled, but that's a long time to get that far from MVP form. Like he's a very solid player, but Mike Trout is clearly on a different level than Bryce Harper. We like I'm saying Bryce Harper still has
consistent with it too.
Bryce Harper's a top tier player. Mike Trout is the best, clear cut, the best in baseball. Nobody. There's that second tier that's kind of a combination of like unproven, really high talent, really productive, but then you have the MVP. Look at where he finishes in the MVP every single season, and now he has like with that kind of track record, with that kind of
finished first
ability,
or second the last 5 years.
You can't ignore, you can't deny that he's the best in baseball anymore. He's on his own level.
You act like it's impossible.
I mean, I just the
I
argument's just not
What
there.
separates Mike Trout is his
What happens if
consistency.
Mike Trout gets hurt next year and doesn't have a good of a season? I mean, you act
Okay,
like it's not
again,
everything's a
there's a
guarantee.
difference. There's a difference between being the best in baseball and having the best season. Like LeBron James is the best player in basketball, but he might end up not having the best season in the NBA. That happens. Like it happens regularly, or not regularly, but it happens every now and then. But like you know what I mean. Like when Bryce Harper,
they have one guaranteed top 5 player, another 2.
They have a star. I will call him a star. I will still give him the credit.
And then they have
Rendon
and Turner could potentially be at least top 10 players next year. I'm not saying it's 100% guaranteed, but their lineup is 1 through 9, extremely good, and they have a lot of depth. They have still a very solid bench. You have Adam Lynn and Steven Drew, Michael Taylor. That's 3 very good guys off the bench for a national team. Matt and plus Derek Norris and Lobaton. Their staff is totally solid all around. Yeah, he is. Their staff is totally good all around. It's 2 aces and 3 very dependable, in my opinion, solid guys. And I would say their only weakness is probably a closer at the moment. But I think it's their division to lose still, in my opinion. I'd be at this team.
I think it's their division to lose, like I said, unless the Mets starting pitching shows up.
The Mets pitching, though, really cannot.
No, that's why I'm saying if they show up, if they're on the field and 3 of the 5 are effective, the Mets have the division. If two of the 5 or less are effective and are effective over like 180 to 210 innings, then they're not gonna. Then it's the Nationals.
I just think if they don't end up winning a single playoff series with this core, we've already had a lot of. And honestly, there's really few. There's only like 3 starters left from this original core, and Worth, Zimmerman, and Harper, and 2 of those guys aren't really main contributors anymore. They really did a great job if they don't end up getting anything out of this, mini.
I completely agree.
Yeah, I mean, like those are definitely the top 2 teams in that division, and it's not a given considering how good the Nationals are. It's not like their division yet. It's not like it's a very different situation with them, just because like we've seen that they haven't really been able to put it all together. So
they're a really mentally weak team, I would say, in my opinion.
I agree.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and shift gears and talk about some of the more middle-tier teams that are kind of not exactly sure what kind of teams they are, because the Atlanta Braves are, like, not as bad as people think.
They really aren't. They're the fun
off-season.
Yeah,
they're the fun team in this division.
Yeah, who would have thunk it? Like, the team that signed freaking Uptons, like, and Dan Ugla, like, are now a totally different looking team, and it's really fun to watch. Like they're pretty athletic when you look around the diamonds. Matt Kemp is probably the exception to that, and Bartolo Colon is clearly the model of health out there for them, and it's hard to he makes everybody else in the field look bad basically. They definitely have enough pieces to put it together, to put together a winning record season. Do you agree with that statement? Hello?
But that.
Oh, you're like really broken up, Rudy. I don't know if you're still talking, but I cannot hear you at all. I'm gonna go ahead and assume you agreed with me wholeheartedly, and I'm gonna say thank you for that. And yes, the Braves could definitely. So close. What did you actually have to say?
I was gonna say this. I think the randomness of this roster is incredibly entertaining.
I enjoy randomness. Do you have any examples?
Kurt Suzuki, Emilio Bonifacio, Brandon Phillips, R.A. Dickey, obviously Cologne, Johnson, Matt Kemp, who you mentioned. I mean, it's just like these guys. There's all over the place around the league that they have collected with these mixed with these really good young players with NCRJ and Swanson and Freeman and Teteron. It's just a really I think entertaining combination of veterans and young guys.
New ballpark too. Everybody watch the Braves. They're gonna be entertaining and random and
Plus
opening this year.
Yeah,
I haven't heard anything about it since last year.
Plus, all coolers in Atlanta can shed a sigh of relief that Sean Rodriguez is out for probably the entire season, so he won't be clubbing them anytime soon.
Yeah.
Conspiracy theory is the coolers crashed his car.
Yeah.
That's sad.
All right, we don't I mean, so the other two teams in this division, I kind of don't want us to go for way too much longer, so we'll kind of go really quick here. But basically, the Marlins, I'm going to go ahead and say Stan needs to be healthy. Yelich is the best player on the team right now, hands down, in my opinion. Yelich is probably one of those players that is sneakily on the verge of being a star in baseball, and
he's so underrated.
He's incredibly underrated. He had a great season last year, and he's starting to put the power together. That's the big money maker right there. So he should be on everybody's.
Him and Stanton would be so scary on a competent team, but that's the Marlins for you.
Holy shit! I forgot Stanton existed for a while there.
Yeah.
Well,
What a bizarre career! Wow, you could watch a documentary on that. Honestly, so really fascinating.
Yeah, basically.
Injuries are a bitch, aren't they?
Yeah, I'm going to give you a couple more players not to sleep on from that team. Marcelo Zuna, who,
agree.
definitely had a very weird season last year. He's still able to produce at a pretty decent level. JT Realmuto had a very nice season last year. He can do it again for sure. He's kind of looking like that new Russell Martin type. Yeah, I mean, they got some other pieces. Justin Bour's a big boy. He,
Derek
he's okay.
Dietrich.
Derek
Dietrich. Yelich, no.
I said Yelich is
we
probably on the verge of being a star.
My bad. I
started with him. Gosh.
You think Rudy listens to you, Uwe? Come on.
Martin Prado still could win a batting title.
Does anybody listen to
because
anybody?
He's just that good of a batting average hitter. So you got that. The Marlins, they're not going to win. They're not that.
They're still incompetent.
Can I honestly ask though, how good do you guys think they would be with Jose Fernandez? I have to ask it.
Oh.
They could be a winning team just barely. I think they would be closer to what the Braves are. They're definitely not right now.
Do they have a different offseason at all if they have him? Would you say is that
it's hard
an
to
unfair
say.
Different
might not mean better.
I would say they don't sign Volquez.
Different might not mean better.
Right.
So
be
careful
with Fernandez. I mean, I'll credit to him. He was a really good pitcher, but I mean, how many wins did he actually? How many wins is going to be the difference with him?
Well, apparently all the home ones. Because
I mean, obviously,
yeah, I mean, it's still sad to think about. I'm just, it dampens the mood for sure. And
damn it, Rudy.
Yeah,
damn it, real life.
I could not resist. I'm sorry. It's just it's something I just have to say.
It's a legit question when you're talking about them this year.
Yeah,
I understand.
Thank you.
Let me go ahead and ask. How many wins will the Phillies have now that they have Clay Buchholz?
I completely forgot he was on their team.
Yeah, what?
Star.
Watch Clay Buchholz win the
Raiders.
I have such an irrational hate for Clay Buchholz.
I think it's his face.
It has nothing to do.
I think it's his
It's
face.
not even the Red Sox.
I do too.
Watch that guy win the Cy Young this year.
I mean, Jeremy Hellickson was very, very productive with the Phillies, so I'll say that much. They're not super different in that regard. I also really like Michael Saunders on that team. I still like him. And I think he's gonna get
random guys too. What the heck?
Yeah.
JP Crawford is likely gonna be up at some point this season. Probably not gonna be a consistent player till next year, but I don't have high expectations for him.
8 years.
I don't have high expectations for him, but he's a toolsy player.
I personally think he's an overrated prospect. I don't think he'll ever be a real I don't think he has the bat to really be a true great shortstop. I mean, he'd still be good, but
that's what people said about Francisco Lindor. Sometimes if you have the makeup,
it's a great counterexample.
Yeah, there's guys that he seems like he has the makeup of a major league player. I don't know if he's going to put together quite the offense of, like some of these other really highly touted prospects out there, but he's ranked highly for a reason. He definitely has a good makeup, and he's got a lot of experience in the minors.
Did you know that Howie Kendrick was on the Phillies? Were you aware? Most importantly,
Howie Kendrick, yes, he's going to play outfield for them.
I was reminded that a couple days ago. I can't remember why, but I was like, oh yeah, he's on the Phillies.
Yeah, Cesar Asturias, I like, or not Asturias.
Cesar
Hernandez. Cesar Hernandez.
That dude retired years
ago.
Cesar Hernandez.
Cesar on the Phillies.
Cesar Hernandez is a very nice.
Cesar Asturias signing for the Phillies. That's a Ruben Amaro type thing, bringing in all the old dudes. So, I mean, not a bad guess for a name, Uwe, but you were way off.
Do they still have Clayton Kershaw's catcher?
AJ Ellis, yeah.
No, he's on the Marlins.
Dang it.
Oh, that's right. He signed the contract. He's hurt now.
They could have held him hostage and demanded they hand over Kershaw. And
Cesar Asturias was apparently an all-star at one point. I was not aware of that.
Yeah, he was a solid shortstop for the Dodgers in the early 2000s.
Was that Mark Ellis?
His brother was a meme.
Was that Mark Ellis?
Meister was a homie, dude.
Oh, we're talking about Asturias now. God. Sorry.
Yeah, we're talking about Asturias.
It's the most important thing.
Asturias or Ellis? Like we could literally just make up a game like where we say like a random fact and say Asturias or Ellis, and like you could definitely.
Remember when the Angels Dodgers had like both sets of brothers? Like the Dodgers had the Ibar and Asturias, and the Angels had Ibar and Asturias. Yeah, that was fun.
The great Willie Ibar.
Remember when Jeff Weaver was cut so Jared could get called up?
Classic.
That's a great prank. Yeah. Best brother duo is Corey and Kyle Seager, of course. So there's no competition there. But yeah, the Phillies.
Get your man crush back in your pants. Come on now, bro.
Whoa.
Wow.
That escalated quickly.
Damn it, you stole my line.
I'm gonna go ahead and shift gears one last time, real quick in the NL East. Give me your definitive statement for who is going to win the division, because I don't think anybody gave a definitive statement.
I thought I did. Did I not?
Okay, Rudy, Rudy basically did.
It's the Nationals to lose.
No, okay. So you say Nationals?
Yeah.
Ray, what you got?
I say it's Nationals. They just seem to find the Mets seem to find a way to lose it, or the Nationals seem to find a way to win it. So
I'm going to go against the grain and say the Mets, because I like a lot of pieces they have. We didn't really talk much about the Mets, but they still have Conforto.
I need to see
he's still really
their guys.
Good despite him not playing. I really like Conforto. Jay Bruce, if he plays first base,
I know you really like Conforto.
Jay Bruce will be much better for the Mets than he was in that second half of last season. Jay Bruce is, he's a power bat. That's all he does. But
I'll admit if their staff is like consistently healthy, they probably have the edge. I feel
they have a much better lineup than people think. Is the point I'm trying to.
Yeah,
make.
That's what I said. No,
outstanding. It's outstanding.
No, it's the Nationals to lose. But that's what I said. Like I said it earlier. If the Mets do have the 3 of 5. It makes it a whole lot more.
Yeah, but I'm not just saying it's not. It's not all about the pitchers, because it matters. But they have a much better
I think it's a big thing
think.
about the pitchers, though.
They have a much better lineup.
It is, but I feel like the Mets. I feel like the Mets always find some drama in the middle of the season that derails them for like 2 weeks, and then they're out of the race.
That's also the Nationals do too.
Like no one can sleep though. Their defense is like beyond awful. It should be next year. Like they don't have. I don't think they're starting any above average defender at any position.
Before the I know they have Neil Walker and all, but before Chase Utley signed, I was thinking how funny would it be if the Mets signed Chase Utley. That would have been absolutely hilarious. I would have laughed so hard at that. Okay. Anyway, that's my last note about them. Yeah, I think that's all we're talking about today. That's all. Good job, guys. I'm gonna go ahead and plug all the things, because that's what I do. We would really appreciate any feedback you have. Of course, you can tweet us at WPB_podcast. You can check out our website. We've got a lot of cool stuff there, articles and whatnot, and the links for that will be down below. You can email us, and you can subscribe on iTunes. If you're watching on YouTube, I don't know if a lot of people know that's a thing, but this is on iTunes, and that might be convenient for you. Go ahead and check that out.
It's been 2 years. It's been 2 years of this. Uwe doesn't mean you can. He's saying you have to. He's over.
Am
it.
I? Okay.
Yes.
All right. You are leaving
leave.
us feedback.
I've been here.
And
I've been here for a month,
iTunes.
and I'm already over it.
Oh my god. Okay. well, fine. Just leave. Maybe we don't even want you. God. Okay. I'm my feelings are hurt now. Gosh. Okay. Thank you all for joining us though today. My feelings are hurt. Thank you for joining us.
It's a great note to end it on.